So, it is just past 5:30 AM, hence the copious amounts of coffee again we're going for this video. However, what we're going to try and do is get this thing up and running today. So anyone who has been following these videos, thank you very much. Anyone who hasn't, why the hell not? I've got this unit here, which is the brain of the bike, the B-Box made by Axel Joost. I'll put a link in the description. It's a really good way to start a video is by having a dead battery. Much better. These cheapy eBay batteries, I'm not convinced, probably because they're going to last 10-15 minutes, but hey ho, it will get me some video done. This B-Box replaces a lot of circuitry, fuse boxes, switching relays and everything else. It pretty much takes all my handlebar inputs and converts them into outputs. So I press the brake lever, then I get brake lights and whatnot. So I was trying to get it working just on my workbench, and it wasn't, and I was thinking, shit, what have I done wrong? But I think there's a combination of things there that means it wasn't working properly. But me being a gigantic retard for one, so I'm gonna just shove it on the bike anyway, because there's systems. I've not got all of my I've not got everything set up that I would like right now, so I need to get I'm still waiting on LEDs, and I'll speak about that later on in the show. I've got an LED here, so I was going to try and test it as a function, but I'd quite like to try and just do it so that I've got my earths and everything set up. So yeah, instead of sitting worrying about what everything's connected up, I'm just going to go for it in true gung-ho style. So we're going to get this put into the bike, and then we're going to try and rig up the starter motor, the starter relay first. That'll be quite good. All I'm realistically going to do today is refer to my wiring diagram that I've made, and pick out certain points. So I have got shitloads of cable, it's a technical term, connections where need be, ring terminal connections. So a lot of my earths rely on being bolted to the bodywork and whatnot. So I've got these ring terminal connections that are M6 size, so I'll be able to attach one side to the cable, the other side will just bolt into the earthing point in the bike. So I'll show you doing that, but realistically all I'm going to be doing is following the instructions for this, follow the instructions that I've made in terms of my wiring diagram. So we'll do some fast forwards, speedy videos, show you me artistically connecting everything up, and then we'll have a little chat about it once I've got it in place. So we'll go get the camera set up. Although it's just putting wires together, it's still quite a fundamental point in the build. I've been lucky enough that my vast following has offered me, actually, yeah, that's quite cool. I've got enough people that want to follow me that I've started getting people who have a genuine interest and have skills in these things follow me and give me support, which is nice. That's what it's all about. So I've had the guy Alex, I was up at his shed on Sunday. I'll put a link in the bio for his thing, but he rewires motorcycles up in just outside Aberdeen. Really handy resource. Totally gets I want to do it all myself, so I wasn't trying to be like, oh, bring your bike to me and I'll do it for you, but really open and honest about, you need to have a wee think about this and here, and this is how I do it on my bikes, and this is the sheathing I use, and it was just really cool. It was just so again, a few more points from him, we can use it in this here, and just a few things to kind of make the final wiring job quite neat, which is it's all about. Look at the scrambler, I'd quite like to do it again, but that's just an ongoing project, and an issue I have to get over about stuff finally being done and up to high enough standard. But so anyway, it was really helpful to get information off this dude. So thanks, Alex. If you see me doing any more reckless, stupid shit in here, please call me out and we'll get it remedied. As I mentioned in the last video, we have got a battery box that's expertly built, finest in all of the land. You can see how everything's been designed to have what a dickhead. It's all been expertly designed to have a home, so my battery slots right in, I've got a little shelf for my B-Box, I've got my ignition unit, and everything has a place. So we just need to then wire everything up. Sounds simple. It is simple, but it isn't. You just need to don't get overwhelmed by it. Everything on the wiring diagram serves a purpose. So we know, especially with one of these modules, all we're doing is connecting buttons to the outputs. And yes, when you look at a wiring diagram for a stock bike, it's an absolute mess. It's not a mess, but they've got so much in there, and everything's really neatly laid out and everything else, and that's fine, but it can be quite overwhelming, especially when you're just looking at it and you're trying to pinpoint a certain thing. So the benefit of doing something from scratch is that you're doing the thing, so you know what you're wiring at each point in time, which is exactly what you need to be doing. You did right. I remember putting that in. I remember where my horn it connects to. Especially with a box like this, I know that my horn connects to the output of the box, and it's a brown wire or it's a pink wire or whatever. So it's because you've done it, you've got a better understanding as to how everything works. And I'm pretty sure not everyone needs one of these boxes, and that's maybe going to be a finding from this, maybe much further down the line. But hopefully a box like this. I was going to try and make this video like how to install a B-Box, and I think I will, but I apologise for anyone who's watching this and they just see them hearing me ramble. You're in too deep now. Right, let's get this put in. So there's several earths we have to take care of. There's the one for the B-Box, the main frame earth, and then there's the earth that goes all the way down to the engine as well. So that's this one here. So need to put a connection on all of them, connect them to the various terminals on here, and then that will be our earth sorted out. So something I'll have to consider, the reason I stopped, is that I'm now starting to put things in their home position, so I don't want to cut and put ends on wires that I'm going to have to cut and redo again. Yes, that will happen at some point in time, but especially with the earth cables and the thick cables, because it's a bit of a bollock to do. So you look here, having to decide the cable routing of these things, whilst yes, it's not going to be entirely set in stone, it would be nice to have a bit of flex within this cable so that I know that I can route it a certain way if I need to. So the heavy cable at the back, so one for the starter motor, the one at the front's my earth, and then they both feed into the battery box. So two things, need to make sure I cut them at the right length, and I'm cutting the right one and connected to the right point. But yeah, it's just these things. Just it'd be nice to do it all in one shot, but that's not going to happen. Sorry to disappoint. My soldering iron is beyond shit, so that's just way quicker to do for heat shrink. I think I would be better getting an actual set of crimps for the battery terminal, the thick 60mm squared, because yes, I can use a punch, and thanks Alex for the tip, but yeah, so I'm gonna order one. The punch is fine. Hindsight, probably shouldn't be trying to do it on the bike, but who cares? It didn't damage anything. So that's the earths done. Next we have, so we've done our frame ground. I don't know if anyone can actually see this. I'll just highlight it in the pictures. I've done the frame ground. We've done the ground for the B-Box, and then we've got our engine ground as well, which is fine. So I've not updated my drawing since I've done my engine ground, but that's fine, something I need to consider. I think what I'll do is I now need to rig up this starter relay circuit, which essentially takes a positive feed from the battery straight to this one side of the starter relay, and then so I'm just looking at the starter relay here. I'm going to go back and have a look at the diagram, but this operates like a switch, and it's quite beefy, and the way that the starter motor is quite a heavy bit of kit. It uses all these thick cables and everything else to allow that to start up. So this kind of separates the system here. It's got we feed a signal in and back again, and then that takes that signal and current and sends it to the battery. Sends it directly to the starter motor via these chunkier connections here. So I need to attach two chunky connections to either side of this, and then I need to figure out where on the output of my what side I need to connect to the output of my B-Box. I'm assuming it will be the red and white. And what I can do is just take the end off that and feed the red and white into the ground. Sorry, feed the red and white into the B-Box, and then the other side I will just ground as per how these things function. They ground. Everything you're doing is you're making a connection with the frame of the bike and whatever you're pressing, and on the output that connection is completed via the B-Box spitting out a bit of electricity into that component. That grounds as well, the common ground of the earth, and it functions. So I shall do that now. I'm going to make the connections to get this in place. I'll just do it off camera because I can't be asked rigging everything up. So when we see you again, we will be over the bike and wiring the B-Box, wiring things into the B-Box. So yeah, just putting on the Moto Gadget, not Moto Gadget, connect up the B-Box. Now I'm not soldering the connections on for my handlebar switches because I'll need to take them off again, so this is just a little trial. What I'm not sure of, right, is whether or not I need to have something connected to the ignition. I think it's just the kill switch, this bit here, so that's fine. All I need to do is connect everything up now to the positive, and grind this against the frame, and then hopefully my starter motor should work. I'm not convinced, but let's see. I don't know whether I need something in here, whether it needs to see a signal in here, the first one. Troubleshoot time. So Axel just got back to me, and I need to connect more things up to the B-Box, which is fine, but it just means that I guess it begs the question, why am I doing all this if I have to my initial plan was to wire everything up to a certain point. So I've not got my switchgear sorted out, but I have got some switches. I've not got my it doesn't matter, I'm tearing the bike apart afterwards, but it would be nice to know that I can get everything wired up. So I do believe I need to, the dog is making some weird noises. I do believe I have to ground more things so the box actually sees more of what's happening. So we'll give it a try, see how we get on, and then we'll pick this up once I've wired a few more things, and then I'll talk to you about what I've done. God, I hate wiring. One thing I will do is change out this shitty little cable on here for something a little bit better with the old soldering iron. Pro tip, if you want to solder something in less than 25 minutes, then don't be like me and spend £6 on the cheapest screw fix soldering iron. It's painful how long this takes to get ready. Update. So I got in touch with Axel Joost over in Germany. Just very impressed with my wiring diagram. Thank you very much. But they came back with a few pointers for getting this thing running. So I have decided to take it out of the bike because I just kind of wanted to. I didn't want to be fiddling around in the battery box, so I've taken it out of the bike, and you notice there's a lot more wired up to get this thing going now. Mainly you can't, biggest learning, you can't just turn this thing on. You can't just say, right, I've connected my positive and minus to my battery, I now want my brake light to work. You need to connect, just because you've got an ignition switch that connects the power, you still need an on switch, I guess, similar to like a car when you put your keys. If anyone that's got an old shitty car like me, you have to still use a key, and it's not wireless, so you need to put your key in the ignition, you turn it, and that first thing turns it on. So I think, and then you've got a second keys position that I guess turns the car on. One, two, I'm trying to remember, but you've got a multiple stages of on in the car. The third one being, I think, you obviously turn the starter motor forward, it starts up, you let go, and the car's going. But here we've got the thing, so assuming that this was connected up and it was on, we have we also have to consider the start switch. So this button here is now being wired up, so it lives. Ta-da! Right, and then we have, so I've got my brake switch wired up constantly, or my rear light, so wherever that's gone, let's just put this here, shall we? Sorry for the mess. So that's that, and now that means my brake switch is constantly wired, which is fine, because that's the circuit I was trying to get. So then finally, if I press this button here, that's my running tail light, and then that's my brake switch, which means I think it allows the LED to function at like 40% of its actual power. So I've just got my two switches that I've bought wired up, so quite chuffed with that. So that means I'm not being a gigantic retard, and I can actually just get this thing in and start rigging up the circuits that I would like to rig up. So mainly the circuits I want to rig up, because I don't want to go too far. I don't want to put loads of stuff in that I have to pull out again, but I do need to have a system set up so that when my LEDs arrive for my tail lights, I can get that working, and I have a basis that I can test things on. So I'm going to try and get the starter motor set up now, and we can test that. I'm also going to try and get the rest of the wiring set up for the ignition unit, so that we can test that live and working and everything else. Those are the two key parts. Charging system as well. 3 key parts to getting the bike running. So if those 3 are working nicely, then I can start focusing on getting the cars back together, and then getting the original cars back together. I think I mentioned in a previous video, and then getting the bike potentially running. Not on my, I've got a spare exhaust, so I still need to weld up my other exhaust. Man, this shit list is absolutely growing. Fun and games. Let's get this back in the bike and start wiring up the rest of the things. So it was a series of shitty earths. This is obviously my main engine earth as well. So we are good. This looks like shit. Don't worry, I'm going to tidy it up. Okay, so that was good. I thought there was a few things going on there. The earths maybe weren't as good as they could be. That's because the battery box isn't tied down. I'm thinking I might. So there's obviously a main engine earth, which goes down from the negative terminal of the battery, and then there's a frame earth as well. But the frame earth I've made goes from the battery box to the frame. So I'm wondering if I can maybe get a, I'll clean this up nice, but if I can get some like copper washers or high conductive washers that I'll just give a nice connection that sit underneath this box, so when you tighten it up it make sure you've got a decent connection all the way around. Similarly, the starter relay, I didn't have this, I think maybe I'd had it on upside down, so that the terminal was actually bridging against it's all live, but it was maybe bridging against the one that was going to the B-Box and shorting out a little bit, so oops. But it works. The engine, the starter motor, it's never sounded like it's got huge amounts of juice, but I think maybe like the battery's always been, once you fully charge it, it goes and it gives you the cool cranking amps, and that's fine. But if you use the battery somewhat a little bit, it just seems to suck out quite a lot of power straight away. Whether that's because we're not getting it charged properly because the alternator's not running and anything else, maybe that's all it is. But so the engine was sounding a little bit tired there, but I think all of that will be resolved if I manage to just get everything tightened up, earth-wise, nice clean earth contacts and everything else. Because right now it's not that. It's just let's just slap this cable on it and see how we go. So that is something I will investigate. It obviously looks like complete and utter dog shit right now. That's because I've just thrown all the cables in to try and get it working. But that was the main aim, to try and get it working. So next, I've got some stuff, Neutronics I need to figure out. Cable connectors for the regulator rectifier, other cable connectors for connecting my my coils. So we're getting to a point where we should be able to get this thing running. I'm gonna go and place an order in for some connectors and whatnot, but to be honest, the Axel Joost, I might take it upon myself to maybe just write a dummy's guide. The biggest issue I had there was the instructions didn't really differentiate between, and it makes sense when you think about it, but it didn't really differentiate between switching the bike on via the ignition switch, which I've not even wired up yet, so switching the bike on via the ignition switch versus actually switching the bike on with a start button like this, for example, where it's now switched on, and then switching the bike on via your so the biggest differentiator was ensuring I had all the grounds set up. It probably wouldn't be an issue for someone who's going, I wanted to see it working, so I'm starting a rewire earlier in this build, partly because my battery box is such an integral part of my build. I've had to build it. I need to be sure that all my wires are running properly. It's something that I've learned off the last bike, that yes, you can kind of make it work, but I like to make it really quite neat and everything else. So so that's why I'm starting now, and that's maybe why I'm only partially rigging it up, and I'm going to do bits at a time until I'm confident I start getting my LEDs and whatnot. So next on the list will be getting the connectors for the ignition unit and the alternator. So I've got a whole host of electrical shit, bits and bobs from AES, Auto Electric Supplies. They've been, here's a logo if you want, if you care. They've been pretty good. RS components are fine for certain things. For more bike related stuff, you can see my face now, isn't that nicer? For more bike related stuff, they're pretty good. All the right connectors. So I was missing a few connectors. I needed to get the right connectors to allow me to attach to the other side of this, my regulator rectifier. Also, I needed a special connector to allow me to connect to my, there's a four-way, there's a very European, there's a four-way connector that allows me to connect my, what's it called? Ignition unit as well. So that's fine, I can get them connected up. So I've ordered some more buttons. So I have these LED buttons. I'll show you in a cutaway. I've got these LED buttons that I plan to make my own switchgear with. Not too dissimilar to the Rebel Moto ones. Because if you look closely at the buttons, you can actually find them through a little bit of Googling. eBay. As much as I don't like eBay parts, I bought a few of these just to see what they're like. I've already bought a few RS Component ones, and they're the ones you can see here. They're good quality, they're about £7 each. The other ones I found on eBay are a bit cheaper. The reason I want these ones is I think I could, my dad's got a new 3D printer, so that's one thing I want to try and make as a nice little module to store these things. The ones I've bought are all black, anodized black with a yellow LED ring around them, which I think would be pretty cool. It kind of ties in with the whole black and yellow theme I'm trying to go with for this build called Panther. So yeah, I managed to get a hold of some of them, which is pretty cool. So they're going to arrive soon. Probably not going to see them in this video, but don't know where I'm going with that. Yeah, the buttons. So I've got my blade connectors, the right blades and everything else, which is fine because I didn't have the right sets, and they're quite cheap, to be honest. They're about £2–3 for a pack of 50, and it's fine. I've got it. I also got hold of my nice red cable. I know it's only one tiny little bit that I need, but I want it to look right. So I've got some nice red cable. One final thing, I got some decent heat shrink that's got adhesive, I think, on the inside. It just bonds a little bit better. Thanks, Alex. This is just me ripping you off. And check out the site. If you need a bike rewired in Aberdeen, go get him to do it. Don't get me to do it. I'll tell you, bugger off. Don't know what I'm doing. I also bought this, which is, I guess, all of the connections on the input side. There is ignition switch, like the start switch, the ignition switch to turn the thing on, the start switch to actually start the bike, the brake. So that's probably comes from the other end actually, rather than me feeding it in from a button, but either or. Headlight, horn, left indicator and right indicator. So what's that, 7? Well, here I've got some 7-core wire with nice 0.75 thin wire. It's already sheathed. I've also bought some nice tidy sheathing to cover all the wires when I'm done, but I don't know, maybe this is not the right idea, but I thought if I can just have all of the inputs in one nice little thing tying into my box, knowing that at the other end all I have to do is maybe take away a little bit more of this as I run it through my handlebars and do all that kind of shit at the other end. I'm not really going to do that in this video, so and that's another thing, that like I'm not going to be able to get this bike. I've not got my LEDs yet. I'm working with a supplier to get some LEDs that I think will be pretty cool for the rear, but until they arrive, there's not much point in talking about them. They're taking a bit of time to get. Whether they're getting custom made as a sample for me, I think that's what's actually happening. But so this is cool. I think this will work. Hopefully, I think 7 cores enough. My little LED lights need push button momentary switches require a feed, an LED 12 volt feed to power the little rings. So I'd kind of like that to come on at the same time when I turn the whole unit on. So I'll probably just maybe take a hot line off the start switch. So when I press that, maybe take a hot line off the key when I turn the key on, and I know that's voltage going to the bike. I don't know. I'm not going to try and figure that out and bore you all to death. So the good news is all these bits have arrived. Let's get the plugs and everything made up so that we can connect up starter motor. Well, the starter motors are connected up. I can connect up the ignition module, and I can connect up the regulator rectifier, and then I think that's all we're really going to do for this part of the build. Really, because I've not got anything else to really wire up. if we can get the bike ticking over nicely and make sure I bolt everything down, then I'll call that a success with this video, and we'll pick up the wiring at a later point in the build. So let's go and have a little look at that. I thought we might have some video proof for the people that actually only followed my videos because they thought they would see Rufus. He is still alive, and he's not been sent back to Cyprus to the adoption centre, although he's been close a few times. But he is growing up to be a nice pain in the ass, I mean lovely little dog. So I wanted a Bernese Mountain Dog, one of those massive big bear type things, and then I ended up with this, a cute, adorable, cute little dog. But nah, he's nice. Feels nice to adopt something. Someone, a dog, I don't know what you are. He's got a mix of Staffy and everything else, but the cats still don't like him, but it's fine. And he keeps chewing on my shit, everything, and that's probably my fault, but everything I own now has been tattooed with teeth marks. So anyone looking to do this, that's been a lesson for me. Keep your pooch out the garage. As cute and as cuddly as he is. Thank you. That's enough. Until another 3 episodes time. Say bye. Alex was actually nice enough to give me some cotter pins, which I have lost since cleaning the garage up, but there's little tangs in here that you can push down on. So I just get something small just to go in, like a cotter pin, but I'm going to use a small screwdriver as a replacement. But you just push the tang down a little bit, and it just pulls free. God, I'm so glad that worked, because I have visions of me pulling it apart. Okay, this took me way longer than I'd like to admit as to the correct way to put this on, which is simple. It's the opposite way of, it's the other it's the other end that connects. God, I'm an idiot. What was my degree? How to be a gigantic retard. There we go. Ta-da! Good as new. Just to do the same on the other side and then forget how it goes on also. God, I'm so smart. Alright, the thing is, the connections I just took off are arguably a better connection than this, and if you search for long enough you can find these, but it is what it is. I've got the connection I need. It's still got a little bit on it to allow me to lock, so Rufus! Okay, you finished that Pepsi. So, I'm not that arsed, to be honest. I've got a connection. If it works, it works. It should work. There's no reason why it shouldn't work. So, last one to do is on the bike itself. So, ignoring the little dog behind us, we have 3 cables that come out of my, sorry for the squeaky stand, out of this ignition module. So, we know, spoke about this before, the pickup coil sends to the ignition module sends to the coils. So my grey, yellow and orange here send to the coils, which is fine. The blue, I have no idea where it goes. The brown, I think, feeds my coils power, I believe. I need to figure out how this all works. Be right back. There's a simple test. I connect it up and I hold the spark plugs next to the engine and then see if I get a spark. And if I get a spark on each of the coils, then boom, I've made it work. If it doesn't work, then I'm a retard and I need to do it again. But me trying to shoehorn everything to a connector, it doesn't make sense to me. I would rather wire up with how I think it needs to be, make it neat afterwards, get the right connectors and everything else, and think of a neater way of doing it. So I'm going to do that and then I'll talk you through what I've done. Okay, so what I've done, as you can see in this little cutaway,
is just wired the thing up as I think it should be done. Yes, it's a bit ugly and there's probably more cables that need to be, but each coil has got power, each coil is getting a feed from the ignition module, so there's a test that we have to do to check if it's working, and if it's working then I reckon the job here is done, because it's just a case of getting other stuff tidied up and yeah, making sure everything's neat and tidy, and then in a place where we can start the bike, get the bike started. I think that's what I'm trying to say in a like really convoluted way. So yeah, let's have a quick look. We'll focus the camera on the spark. For some reason the battery sounds like it's not got much juice, which is weird. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced with this battery. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and charge it, and when I want to make sure all my earths and everything are great and solid and everything's a nice clean surface, and that will definitely have an impact. But let's try to turn the bike over slow as it is and see how it sounds. Okay. I saw sparks. Once more, just for good luck. Go away. Go away. I know it's an important moment and you want to watch it, but go away. I call that a spark. So many close-up weirdo zoomed in pictures of my face. Right. So that was a success, kind of. Battery's not got much juice, but I think that might be something to do with the fact that it's maybe got there's maybe a few shitty earths I'm just relying on at the moment. So I am going to, I'm waiting on more bits arriving, so I'd rather get things secured down a little bit better, take a few bits apart, cleaned up and put back together, i.e. make sure my battery box is bolted onto a nice clean metal surface beneath on the frame, make sure my frame earth's mounted up properly and everything else. So I'm going to call this video here. I've not obviously fitted my alternator unit, that's fine right now, but that's probably not going to be helping. But then again, my bike's not running to get it up and charging, so get it up. So the fairly successful video. Sorry if it was a little bit boring. I find this topic quite interesting actually. You go into a weird little trance that doesn't really, I don't know, I like working through it logically. Everything has a function. I hopefully explain it a little bit more when I'm rigging up my seagulls, Aberdeen please. I'll hopefully be able to explain it a little better when I've got my handlebar switches or more handlebar switches and more things to show you. All I've done now is rig up my ignition system. I saw a spark. That spark's good. That means once I get everything cleaned up, if I can get this engine turning over quicker, then there's a good chance we should hopefully be able to start it. So next on the agenda, clean that shit up, make sure it's nice. I'll take another little update video once I've done that so you can hear how it sounds. I'm going to rebuild the original carbs because I just want, they were tuned to run with velocity stacks, so that's one less thing I need to worry about if they're tuned to run with velocity stacks. So I've got carb rebuild kits that arrived a few weeks ago, so I'm going to do a really weird creepy ASMR video for all of you folk that like that. Hopefully put a nice twist in that. So get the carbs done, and then I can start focusing on that stainless steel exhaust that needs some additional work just to get it right. There's a few mounting points, needs to be welded together. I think what I'll probably do is there's a few bits that just need chopped off and put on again, so I'll make a video for that as well. But we are progressing at an okay rate. I've made a few decisions recently on the bike that have changed the style slightly. There's still quite a lot to be done. There's the rear lights, so once those LEDs arrive, I should have some, that'll make quite an interesting episode hopefully. The front end, I think I'm just going to stick with the standard front end, but still try and maybe look at getting my own yokes made. Timescale cost wise, I need to have a think of that, but that's still something I'd quite like to do. For the shocks, I'd like to run some upgraded internals. For the brakes, I think I can maybe try and make a brake upgrade work, just staring at the bike there. If that's the case, then I should have a fairly decent stopping bike. It does weigh quite a lot, but I'm not a fast rider. I like bursts of speed, but I just like cruising about on a bike. Yeah, I'm quite happy to have, if the bike stops better than it would in the 70s, that's probably okay enough for me. If it handles pretty well, I used to have a Harley and I thought that was fine, so I mean I'm not setting the roads on fire or anything. It's more just, all of this is just an enjoyment for me, working on stuff, getting a creative outlet. So I have had a host of new followers join me since I've done my podcast with Teapot One. So thanks, Bruce. That was really cool. And welcome new followers. Hopefully this page and this YouTube is of interest to you. I tend to do really long-winded content that doesn't really go anywhere and kind of finishes nowhere near where I expected to finish. So I wish I had some friends. God, I'm so alone. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully the next video we'll have a bit more of an update as to how we're progressing. But yes, I'll help you wire a B-Box. Yes, I think my wiring's actually correct, so I'll share my wiring diagram. If you like what you saw, please put a comment. If you hated it, put a comment. I'll fight you in the comments. But yeah, just generally subscribe to my channel and take it easy, folks. We shall see you in the next video.